Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and today is the July wrap-up. So I read a total of 27 books in the month of July. It was a great reading month for me, and I'm basically at 144 books of my 200 book reading challenge goal for Goodreads. So I'm doing a really good job. I'm definitely gonna hit 150 soon. And then from there, hopefully the last 50 is super easy. I think it will be. And honestly, I have a really good feeling that I'm actually going to surpass 200 books read for the year. So that is great. I'm happy. So let's just knock them all out first. So I don't have any of the volumes of Nana with me because I just recently gave them back to my friend Neptune, who loaned me her copies. But I read 7 volumes, the last 7, so 14 through 21. And as a whole, I would give that series like 3.5 stars. I've mentioned this in a few videos that I really preferred the first half of Nana when people were single. We were just trying to get the band back together, trying to get some shows before like the introduction of Trap Nest. And then we see Ren again and Takumi, and one of the Nanas is pretty. It's just so much stuff happened at the very last part of Nana that I really just started to lose interest. New characters got invited, brought in, couldn't follow anybody, couldn't remember what this person's role was, why is this person important again, I couldn't even really follow why the record company was trying to fuck over Nana. It was just so much. So as a whole, I would rate that 3.5 stars. I would read it again, but I would probably stop at the part where certain characters are reintroduced. And the ending was really sad. Don't know why they ended it that way. I kind of just felt like we could have, especially if you're going to be on a hiatus for like, I think my friend said it's like been like 10 years since they've written something new. Why end it that way? It's like a cliffhanger that's like, what the fuck? So yeah, 3.5 stars for that one. I read the newest volume of Fire Force, volume 27. I actually am thinking about maybe waiting till I've completely wrapped up this whole series to give reviews on the volumes, just because I think the last volume comes out next year, which then that's a lot of time. But I really do want to reread the whole series because, you know, obviously a lot of stuff is happening. There's these few months in between the volumes, but still really good. As you can see, the Soul Eater's son here. A lot is still happening. More things are being discovered, and I'm just genuinely liking the series still. Next, I read volumes 19 through 23 of One Piece. So I have finished the Baroque Works arc. It was really, really good. I genuinely enjoyed it. This was fun, honestly. Like I've said, One Piece has been a really fun series to read, a lot more than I thought it was going to be when I first started this. As I've said before, I told my husband I would make a compromise. I would not be able to commit to watching One Piece. He has just recently like gotten into the 900s episodes, so he's catching up. I can't do that, okay? So I finally finished this arc, and my husband was nice enough to buy me the second box set. So now volumes 24 through 71, I think. I also have the third box set. I have to now buy the 4th box set if I want to just keep going. And then I don't know if I'm going to wait till like the volumes that are now coming out get a box set, or if I'll just buy them single volume. I mean, you can find all of them in Books A Million and Barnes & Noble, so I'll probably just start collecting the single volumes once I get past 91. But yes, One Piece has been really fun to read. I love it. I also got to a volume 18 of Hunter x Hunter. So basically, I decided to stop, even though I could have probably read another like 10 volumes this month, but I wanted to stop because we finally ended the Greed Island arc here, and we're about to go into the Chimera Ant arc. So I was like, let me stop, because I want to just devote all my time to reading Chimera, because there's a few, like the last, I think 3 or 4 volumes in Hunter x Hunter that I have weren't in the show. So I want to really take my time with Chimera Ant arc, see if there's anything that's like different from the show, and then I will actually catch up. And luckily the author is now writing some new chapters. So obviously I'm going to have a lot of time to wait, but there's going to be some new stuff, like I mentioned, that I'll take my time. And lastly, I finally got to volume 10 of Bleach. I am really enjoying reading this. I don't know what it was for those first 3 volumes. I think because I'd already watched the show and not even a lot. Okay, I haven't watched the show. I've watched the first few episodes that the first few volumes cover. And I think because I've rewatched it twice and still didn't make it past those episodes, I felt like, in such a slump. But now that I'm past that, I'm loving it. I have the first box set of Bleach. I just bought the second box set because I really feel like in the month of August, I'll finish this completely. And I just want to be prepared. Don't judge me. But yeah, and then I'll get the third. They're on sale on Books A Million's website. So if you want the box sets, 2 and 3 are on sale. I don't know about the first one. Check it out. You never know. But I got my first box set from Second & Charles, which is basically Books A Million. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. There you have it. And then I also read Saga Volume 10. That's the newest volume of Saga since it had been on like a year's worth of a hiatus, or even more than a year, I think, from Volume 9, where this really important character dies. You know, I think I made the mistake of not rereading the whole series again. I probably should have done that. But honestly, I don't know how I'm liking the series anymore. I loved Saga. My wonderful, beautiful, amazing friend Rochelle actually introduced me to Saga many years ago when she still lived here. If you're watching this, Rochelle, I love you. And it's a great series. But the last few ones have been so bleak, and what they showed might happen soon. I don't know if I want to keep reading it if more of these characters are going to die. One of my favorite little animal sidekick characters may very well be murdered, and I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. And honestly, I know, so basically, like, the whole point is that these two warring worlds and races, both alien though, I believe, they've always been at war, but two people ended up being in a relationship, which that's not supposed to happen. We can't let the propaganda, you know, the propaganda curtain be pulled aside and see, wait, we actually can be okay. And then they had a kid. So now this whole story has been about stopping them, and then the fact that they have to stop and kill their child. So it's been years now. They're older. And I understand that when the series finally ends, it will be when either they overthrow the government and, you know, can get rid of all this propaganda, or they die. And when I was reading Volume 10, I was thinking, God, how much longer is this going to go on? Like, when is something going to happen to where it's finally going to end? It feels like we're just going to keep seeing them struggle and fight and struggle and fight. And I'm almost at that point where I'm like, I really want it to end. Like, I want there to be a happy ending, I guess what I'm really trying to say is I want there to be a happy ending already, because I'm ready for there to be a happy ending. Please. So yes, what did I rate Volume 10? Hard to say because it's been so long. I would say for like kind of bringing some stuff back up, seeing the characters again, 3, something like that. Alrighty, so I finally finished my reread of Foundry Side because I put an annotation here. So glad I reread this book. It was so freaking good. I genuinely loved getting right back into the story. I read this when it first came out, and I'm not really sure when it did. Maybe it was like 2018 or 2019. I would highly recommend Foundry Side. I don't really hear many people say that they don't like it. So if you have heard like mixed reviews, at least for me, I think that it's worth a read. It's an adult fantasy. Okay, let me read the back for you guys because I've tried to explain the story twice already and this didn't go good. So I'm just going to read the back for you. Sanchia Grotto is a thief, and a damn good one, and her latest heist on Tavon's docks is nothing her unique abilities can't handle. But unbeknownst to her, she's been sent to steal an artifact of unimaginable power, an object that could revolutionize the magical technology known as scribing. If the ruthless merchant houses who control this magic, the art of using coded commands to imbue everyday objects with sentience, can unlock the artifact's secrets, they will rewrite the world itself to suit their aims. Now someone in those houses wants her dead, and the artifact themselves, and in a city like Tavon, nobody has the power to stop them. To have a chance of surviving and at stopping the deadly transformation that's underway, she will have to marshal unlikely allies and undergo her own transformation, one that will turn her into something that she could never have imagined. Much better explanation than what I was trying for. it's a great fantasy book in my opinion. And the whole reason why I wanted to reread this is because I own the second book and I technically own the third book because I got it from NetGalley. I don't remember when it comes out though. It might have already come out or it's coming out this month. So yes, that's why I reread this book. It was a great reread. I absolutely would not have known what the fuck is going on if I picked up book 2, having not reread it. And it was worth a reread. So give it a try. This is a 5-star book in my opinion. I'm definitely excited to see where the series goes because stuff happens at the end, y'all. Okay, it pops off and I'm very excited. Read it. For my family's book club, I also read The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James because it was my pick for the first month. I think it was based off of, was it based off of age? Who's the youngest? Or it might have been in alphabetical order. So my name's Connie. I went first. So I was like, you know what, I need to read some of these Book of the Month Club books that I own. So I chose this one. And thank you to everyone who, you know, went in the poll and chose this one for me. This was good. Honestly, I feel like this was a 3.5, 4-star book. My family and I haven't talked about it yet. We're going to be talking about it on Sunday. But the thing that I will say about this is I had a hard time putting it down. I'm gonna tell you that. So it's a mystery thriller with a little bit of supernatural stuff in it. It's got 2 different perspectives. We're following Beth and we're also following Shay. And we're going back in time as well. So back in the 70s, there was a lady killer murder. So a woman killed 2 men. There seemed to be no motive, but they always believed that it was this woman named Beth, and her family was very rich, but they had a very sad kind of past to them, and she's kind of been very infamous, but also kind of been able to hide in the shadows for the last few years. And then in present day, which is 2017, she's a receptionist, and on the side, she likes to run this website called The Book of Cold Cases, where they talk about true crime stuff, and it's like a passion hobby for her. She doesn't realize how serious that it really is to her until Beth shows up at her doctor's office and she's like, holy shit, I know who that is, but the person working with her didn't. She follows her. She explains like, I know who you are. I would love to interview you for my site. And Beth says yes. No one has ever been able to get a yes from her. People have asked her for interviews constantly. And for some reason, this time is different. She chooses to let Shay in and kind of give her a background. And now we're kind of like, trying to solve the murder, trying to see what happened, who really was this woman, was it really Beth? Maybe it was really Beth, who knows? So I don't want to get into too many details because, you know, my family's really nice and they watch my videos. Thank you, Mom and Tiffany. But it was good. I will say the thing that I've already mentioned to my family is that little bit of supernatural part in this book, I don't think that it was necessary. That's why it wasn't 5 stars for me. I think that she should have chosen one or the other. Like, if you're going to make some supernatural aspect in it, make it a little bit, kind of go a little bit further with the supernatural, because it doesn't really totally fit. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Or don't have anything supernatural. And I was thinking about a book that had like something supernatural in it, but in reality it wasn't, and this person was just seeing things. What was it? Oh man, I think it was Dead Silence, something like that. Something like Dead Silence, where, okay, what we find out though is that's not really true. I liked that kind of about Dead Silence, but blah, blah, blah. All of that to say, because now I'm rambling again. I feel like Simone St. James should have picked one and just stuck with it. You either make it more supernatural or you don't do supernatural at all, because it didn't need it with what was happening. But I loved the ending. I thought it was really great. I enjoyed it. I ended up really liking Beth as a person. Who am I? So yes, give this one a read if you're just looking for something that's like kind of like a short thriller. It is the pacing kind of slow, sure, but I feel like when you're reading mystery like this, everyone's kind of familiar with that. It being a little bit slower paced, but it's not too long. It's still like under 400 pages. I think it was like 350, not even 350, like 320. So give it a try. All right, then for Summerween. Now, if you watch my Summerween videos, you already know how I felt, but I'm just going to give a quick, like, about the books I read. I read Womb by Duncan Ralston. I didn't really have a rating for that. It's really hard to rate that. It was an extreme horror book. It's about a guy named Angel who comes back to this hotel room that has all of this really sad, tragic history to it. he invites a woman named Shiloh, who's a prostitute, to spend the night with him and, you know, tell his stories to her because he intends to do something to her and with her that is ritualistic in some way. All in all, it was an interesting read. It was my first time, I think, reading something that was extreme horror. So, like, was the stuff pretty sickening? Yeah, it was pretty sickening. Some of the stuff that happened in the book was gross. I didn't gag, though. I didn't, like, feel like I was gonna vomit. But, yeah. So, again, I don't know how to rate it. Was it extremely extreme? Yeah. So, a point there. But I would never read it again. So, and I don't know how likely I am to reach for extreme horror like that. We shall see. We shall see. Next, I read Camp Slasher by Dan Padavona. That I gave 5 stars. That was a good ass slasher. I've read a few slashers in the past, and I thought they were all really great. This one, no exception. That prompt that it fit was read a book with a slasher in it, and it was good. It has some Halloween colors too. That was one of the prompts. Really, really good. Oh my God, I couldn't put it down. It only took me like 4 hours to read it. So fast paced, which most slashers are. The opening chapter was pretty like, something creepy's happening, and I liked it. I want to read something else by Dan Padavona, but I looked at some of the reviews. He's actually written like 2 or 3 series. I don't know if I want to get involved in something like that. But there was like 2 books that I think are standalone that I might try. I think one of them is called Quilt, and one of them is called something else, maybe Alone or something. I'm not sure. I might try them. I don't think they're that expensive on Kindle, so who knows. And then lastly, I read The Haunting of Lee Harker by Darcy Coates. That one I rated 4 stars. I actually thought it was really good. As I mentioned in my last vlog video for Summerween, I definitely was expecting something different, but that was my fault because I thought that it was going to be a little bit more fast-paced than it was. When it wasn't, I felt like it was kind of a chore to read, but it was because I was unfortunately comparing it to Camp Slasher, and a ghost story and a slasher story are not going to be paced the same. And I should have known that because as someone who loves Darcy Coates, I know that she's like a slow burn person, but in the end, I will like what's happening. And in that one, I ended up really liking what was happening. So the ending I thought was really great. I cried, actually, because something is sad that happens. But it was worth the read. A lot of people said that they liked that book. I agree. I'm with you. I liked it too, and I would recommend it. But I would recommend a lot of Darcy Coates' books. So it is what it is. So yes, thank you. That is it. That is the July wrap up for Constance the Reader. Tell me what you guys read in the month of July. Is there anything that I read that you guys are interested in? Do you have any opinions? Anybody do Summerween? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you had going on. And yeah, if you like the video, please like the video. If you like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I would be excited if you followed me. It'd be great. But anyway, have a good day. Goodbye.